just a quick note, this video's audio was recorded in about November, December time, 2022. There might be some references to the idea of Scarlet and Violet having just released. Obviously, it hasn't just released, but this is just a video that didn't want to render, so I'm trying to sort it out now, but I just wanted to put a quick note here about why there might be some confusing references here and there. Hello, this is Slade. As usual, you'd kind of expect that being on my channel. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, so I want to do a sort of a different kind of video today. So recently Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were released. And one of the things that I've heard people say, because obviously a lot of people have been complaining about Scarlet and Violet, but one of the things that people have said is, why don't you try out Temtem? And if I'm honest, I have had interest in Temtem for a while. But my main issue with playing a game like Temtem is simply that I like Pokemon because of the Pokemon. Like, I personally genuinely believe that there is just kind of an inherent quality about the Pokemon themselves, about the way that they're designed, which it essentially is the main reason that the franchise is as big and as popular as it is. There's something about the designs that just really works, I think. And I'm not very good. I'm not like qualified in graphic design or just design in general. I'm not a designer of any sort. I'd love to be, but I'm not. And as a result, I can't really say what it is about the design that I think works. But I do feel like I can spot something about Pokemon's designs that is different, that is special. And so I thought it would be kind of interesting, as someone who has never played Temtem, to actually go through every single Temtem, and to actually, you know, to think, what are these designs? How good are these designs? Do they rival Pokemon? In my opinion, of course. Or is it just another imitation, I guess, that just can't quite live up to Pokemon standards? So that's what I'm going to do. I found an article here that it was published the 6th of September this year, so should be fairly up to date. And it is by someone called Lottie Lynn. So I'll put a link to the article in the description of this video. And I'm just gonna go through all of the Temtem as they come. And I'm going to kind of say what I think about them, say what I think about the design, purely the design. I'm not going to be judging it on anything else other than that, purely the design. I mean, that's a great way to celebrate the release of Scarlet and Violet, isn't it? You know, talking about Temtem. I haven't actually played Scarlet and Violet yet. That's I won't be playing it for about a week yet. So I figured this would be a way to pass my time while I wait to be able to play it. And yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully do this in one take. We'll see how that actually goes. But as a result, if my dogs start barking or you hear, I don't know, a motorbike going outside, it's not my fault. It's the flipping dogs and the motorbike doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. So we're gonna go down and we're going to see what the first Temtem is. If it will scroll down. There we go. Okay. So, the first Temtem is Mimit. See, this is one, when I was planning this video that I have seen. I have, I saw this when I was just looking for lists of Temtem. If I'm honest, it's not terrible, but I don't really. There's intriguing parts about this design, definitely. I'm intrigued by the cube on the end of its tail. But other than that, it doesn't really look cool, and it doesn't really look cute to me either, with the, you know, one massive eye. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I do like it. I do like it. I don't think it's one that I am massively into. Okay, so as I go along, I'm going to kind of try and rank these in a tier list. And the way that I typically do tier lists is that I have S tier, A tier, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then Z tier. So the way I do it is S tier is what I call the masterpieces. So you know what a masterpiece is. Just what I consider a perfect design. A is the designs I think are amazing. B is the ones that I think are great. C is just the good ones. D is the middle point, that's meh. Then E is the ones that I think are bad. F is the ones I think are awful. G is the ones I think are atrocious, like really, really bad. And then finally Z tier is the ones that I just consider to be straight up abominations. If I were to rank this one, I would say it's a C tier. I think it is good. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's... I think it's good. I'd say C tier is fair for that. Let's see what else we got. Ori. This one's... again, I think I've seen this one before. It looks kind of like... Its head looks like an upside-down PlayStation controller. PS4 controller... Well, PS5 controller, I guess. I actually kind of dig that. I can see here that it's a digital type. I'm not really going to be judging them on types, just because I don't really know the types in Temtem. But yeah, this one's actually... I quite like this design. I might shuffle these around in terms of the tiers at some point, but I would say this is a solid... I wouldn't say it's amazing. I'm going to say a solid B tier. So for Ori, I'm going to say B tier. Oh, I don't even know how to... Zalbian. Okay, I'm going with that. This is a decent design. I have to say, I do think I prefer Ori. I think Zalbian is quite cool, but I think maybe it's just like the shapes of these legs here. I'm not sure that really gels with me. But overall, I'd still say it's a B tier design. Yep, that's a solid design in my books. Chromion. Oh, I'm not sure I like this one. I mean, tongue Pokemon tend to be a little bit off-putting in general anyway. So having it sticking this tongue out is not necessarily great. I don't know, I think this design is a bit too busy, a bit too robotic. I wouldn't say I particularly... it's got a little bit of character to it, I think. I don't know, the big eye... I guess the tongue sticking out is quite, endearing in a way. As endearing as sticking your tongue out can be. But I think the design's a bit too busy for me. Which I guess comes with it being a robotic, I guess. But I would say for me, this is going to be a D tier, which, remember, D tier here is just neutral. It's not bad necessarily. I don't think it's a bad design, but I'm just not feeling it. Halsey. This is weird, but I kind of like it, I think. I think the shape of the face... It looks quite like this long face looks quite awkward, I think. But I think that's something I can look past. I can definitely look past that, and I think there's other design elements I like. The clawed hands look quite cool. The body shape I think is fine. Whatever these toes are, I quite like that. That looks quite unique. And these head things, I quite like this kind of solid head. I don't know what you'd call it. It's not plumage, but whatever that is. I quite like that, and I like this pink eye. I'd say a C tier for this one. I think that's good. And then presumably its evolution, Molgu. I quite like this actually. I'm going to say B tier. It looks more muscular, which comes with being an evolution. And I think it quite nicely builds on what Halsey kind of, lays down. So yeah, I think, yeah. I even the head shape I actually think works a bit better on this one. So I'm going to say it's a B tier. Now this is one of the ones I've definitely seen before, Platypet. I'm sure a lot of people remember, but this was part of a fake leak, a fake Pokemon leak. I believe what happened was that after seeing it in the leak, the creators of Temtem kind of, I think, bought the design, something like that. So this is a design that when I saw it, I really wanted to be real. This was kind of before I realised that Psyduck is a platypus Pokemon. But I always kind of wanted a platypus Pokemon. I'm a big Phineas and Ferb fan, so, I loved the idea. And so I absolutely adore this design. It's adorable. It's just adorable. And if this was a Pokemon, it would be, firstly, my instant starter pick. And I'm guessing this is like a starter in Temtem. I'm guessing. I don't know, but I'm guessing. And yeah, I think this is an excellent design. I would say this is just an S tier, because I've always, since I first saw it, I've loved it. And I wish it was a Pokemon, quite frankly. So, yeah. We're giving Platypet first S tier. Platox. I quite like this one as well. I guess in my mind it's not quite as iconic as Platypet. It's a really good design. I really like it actually. I would say though for this one I would give it an A tier. Not quite S tier. Not that I necessarily think it's worse than Platypet, but I don't know, Platypet's just so adorable, and Platox doesn't have that as much, so... oh, what's this? Platimus. Okay, I think that this is actually gonna go back up to S tier, because that design goes hard. Jesus, there's like flipping Perry the Platypus on roids. I mean, Jesus, are you seeing this? Yeah, Platimus, that is a cool design. I like what they've done with these arm things. Where I like this aesthetic of like the arm, the forearm, or which bit is that? The forearm or the? I don't know what the other bit's called. Whatever. This part of the arm being bigger than this part of the arm is just in general a design I really like. And yeah, this is a great design. S tier definitely. Swally. Oh no, this is adorable. This is adorable. It kind of looks, if I'm comparing to Pokemon, it kind of looks like a mix between Caterpie and Metapod to me. And that's not a bad thing, to be honest. And I like the color scheme. Yeah, I would say I really like this. I'm going to give this an A tier. Yeah, I think that's great. Loali. See, I don't know what it is, but I don't like this as much as its pre-evolution. And I'm trying to think why, because it has the same colour scheme, although actually having said that, there is more green on this, which I think that the black and yellow of Swally is actually one of the coolest parts of it. Whereas this, the green, there's just kind of too much of it. Not that there's too much of it, it makes sense for this design. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that the green kind of spoils the colour scheme a little bit in terms of how cool I think it makes it look. It's definitely not bad, so I would give this a B tier. Thinking about it, I think that the design is a little bit awkward as well, just a head with wings. Not that that's a design that can't work, but yeah, I'd say definitely A tier for Swally, B tier for Loali. Okay. Then we have Tateru. I'm trying to think what this makes me think of. It might just actually be that I recognise this. I think I do recognise this Temtem. Hold on. Is it one of the ones... No, it's not one of the ones on here. I do feel like I recognise Tateru. Or Tateru... I don't know, Tateru. I feel like I recognise this. I would say this is a C tier. I don't like generally quite... I guess blobby designs without much clear definition in their body, and that kind of feels like for example, one of my least favorite Gen 9 Pokemon is Bellibolt, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but I don't really like the generally blobby lack of definition in the body shape. Like, for example, another example I could give you, I prefer Jigglypuff's design to Wigglytuff's design, because Wigglytuff is just kind of a lot more of an amorphous blob, whereas Jigglypuff, perfectly round. I just think that that's a much more pleasing design. And then I guess you could look at something like, well, any of these, they have much more defined body shapes. Even this, it's got a kind of blobby design, but there's more definition in the limbs, for example. So I guess, like, just looking at these legs, they just kind of feel like they bleed into the body, and I don't really like that as a design choice. But at the same time, again, the neck has a similar issue, I think. But as I do actually quite think that this is actually quite a good design. Other than that, I think it is quite cute. Yeah, I could see this being one that I like, actually, so I'm gonna give it a C tier. Garunda. I don't know if that's meant to be a crocodile or not, or just a dragon, or a warthog. Actually, it kind of looks like. I think it actually looks quite cool, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's one that would be a favourite of mine. But I do think it looks quite cool. Maybe a little bit busy with all of these like spikes on its back and the fin. But then again, I think actually that's quite a nice, that's quite a cool design. In fact, this fin here is actually going to boot it up for me from a C to a B. I think that's quite, not just that it looks cool, but also the color scheme I think works. So yeah, I'll give that one a B tier. Mosu, oh no, this is adorable. I'm gonna just give this an S tier. Like, that is adorable. Just like the hair. I quite like mammoths in general. Like as a concept, I used to love Ice Age, and I just love prehistoric animals in general, but especially mammoths. But yeah, so I think that this is adorable. Yeah, I think. There's not much to say about this one. I just think it's adorable, like with the shaggy hair and everything. Yeah, I'll just give this an S tier. I really like that. I really like that. Magmut. Oh, now that's cool. I think something about the hair doesn't feel quite right to me. So it's not going to be an S tier. I think I would give this an A tier. It's still a really cool design. And as I say, I just really like mammoths. And the idea of it actually is quite cool. This kind of fiery mammoth. But just something about this head doesn't quite work for me. So I mean, it still works relatively fine. It's just something about the head doesn't quite blend to me. So I'm gonna give this one an A tier rather than an S tier. Paharu. This isn't really my thing, I guess. I can see that it is quite. You could say this is a cute Temtem, I guess, but I don't know. Something about it doesn't quite gel with me. Maybe it's the color scheme, the red and the green. I mean, red and green are supposed to work quite well as a color scheme, being, you know, complementary colors and everything. But in this case, it just doesn't really work for me. I'm not sure why that is. I'm gonna give this a D tier. I'm kind of meh on this one. Paharak, it's a little bit cooler. Is it cool enough to be up to a C tier? No, I'm still... This face mask thing, that's cool. And it's an improvement on the one that Paharu has. But I'm still not feeling it. D tier, I'd say. Grandpa. I'm not judging these on names, but Grandpa as a name, I don't know if that's meant to be a pun on, you know, Grandpa, but if it is, that's great. I would say I like this a bit more. The feet, actually. The feet. I like this. One of my favourite Pokemon is Dodrio. And one of the things I like about it is the powerful looking feet. And Grandpa kind of has that same quality to its feet, I think. You know, large clawed feet. I would say this kind of boots it up to a C tier. I'd say this is definitely... I think, actually, if it was in a different pose, I might like it more. But I'm only judging it on its artwork. So, I would say, yeah, C tier. Ampling, adorable. This is one I think would be good as a Pokemon. I think that this would be... I think this is an A tier, yeah. I'd say that this is solid. Yeah, A tier. A tier. Nice solid A tier. I like the blue of the eyes. It's nice, quite a nice contrast in terms of the colour to the yellow, the beige, and the grey there. Yeah, I like a lot of these design elements. I like the yellow. I was about to say eyebrows, and then I remembered it's a deer. So I like the antlers, the yellow antlers. They've got quite a nice shape to them. The lightning bolt designs are always quite cool. Same with the tail. And actually, I like these little bits. And it's quite a busy design in some ways, I guess. Well, no, actually, it's not that busy a design. Really, it's got a fair bit going on. But it's actually not that busy, really. It feels like there's plenty there, but it's still quite, you know, it gets it right on the basic level, I think. So yeah, nice A tier. Amphatir. Now this is cool. Ooh, does it boot? No, I don't think it quite boots it up to an S tier for me, but I do think it's an A tier for sure. I like what's going on with the face here. It's quite nice and sleek, I think. And the antlers. This whole thing of you know, things floating kind of off the body, which seems to be what's happening here. That's quite cool to me. Like Haunter, I love Haunter's design because of the fact that the hands aren't attached to the body, I guess. And yeah, I guess same here. I like this, what's happening here. The tail, nice evolution from its evolution. Yeah, just in general, I think that this continues the design in a logical way. And it's a really solid design. So yeah, another A tier. Bun. See, this has got a lot of good design elements, I think. I like the crystal on its head. Nice, strong paws. I like this leg. I think, actually, the brown and green colour scheme, I'm not sure really works for me. But other than that, I do actually quite like it. I would say this is a B tier. I think it's a great design. I just feel like the colour scheme puts me off. So maybe if I were to play Temtem and I got a Luma Bun, I believe that's what they call shinies, Luma, which yeah, that works, I guess. Maybe then I would be more forgiving of Bun, but as it is, just judging this design, I think great elements like the crystalline aspects, but it does kind of lose out for me just on the mix of the colours. So yeah, I would say, yeah, B tier, definitely. Mudrid. This, actually, I'm going to put up to A tier. The colour scheme here, this kind of... It's more of a grey here. It's still kind of a brownie, but it's more of a grey. And I actually think that works a lot better. Like the evolution in the feet, actually. The idea of it, you know, on the heel, the crystal on the heel. with the toes now kind of popping out, and also liking the claws there. And actually, these head crystals are quite cool, and yeah, these ears as well. They're very straight, very, you know, they create quite a nice silhouette, I think. And this, yeah, this is an easy A tier actually, easy A tier. I think this is actually really good design. Hidodi. Is that a stinging nettle? That's a stinging nettle. That's an immediate Z tier. No, I'm kidding. All I can think of. Actually, I'm not even sure what I can think of. It just doesn't. I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. I think that this is gonna be a D tier because I don't think its design is bad, but I just don't get much from it. I'm not sure. I mean, the spiky leaf bit here, okay, I get it. Not sure it's enough though. And this head, it just feels weird. Yeah, D tier. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this one kind of vibes with me. Taifu. Yeah, I don't. The head. The head. See, I can see this is cute. Like the big eyes and the just, you know, something about the face, the big eyes and the mouth. That's cute. This just looks like a fat alien, and I don't really like it. The arms are a bit too chubby for me. So are the legs, actually. And this tail, there's something about this kind of flattened end to the tail that I'm not liking. But it's just these bits here. These bits put me off. I'm going to put this as an F tier. Have I got my tiering right? Hold on. No, hold on, no. Sorry, not an F tier, E tier. Right, okay. Apparently, I don't know the alphabet very well. Yeah, I put this as an E tier. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but I would say that I don't really like it. So yeah, E tier. Yeah, I don't like it. Let's see. Fomu. Kinda blobby. The color of the... See, here's the thing. That kind of looks like a carrot. And that, as a design decision, I could take if there was a reason for it. And it doesn't seem that there's a reason. I'm just trying to think. This looks like it's based on a narwhal. And so I don't know why that would be a carrot. And I think once I get in my head that that's a carrot, I can't see it as anything else. I'm also really not a fan of just the general body shape. This tiny tail, why? And these wispy bits could work, but just in this case, I don't think they do. I'm going to put this as another E tier, actually. I don't really like this, no. This is better, but a lot of the same issues still apply. Better head shape. Well, I mean, this doesn't have a head shape, I'm going to be honest. But the head shape is okay. Just the general body shape is better. I guess these are meant to be wings or cloudy kind of cloudy wings. But the tail isn't as diddy. I would say this is a D tier. I'm still not feeling it, but it's better than Fomu. So yeah, D tier. Scale. It's given me kind of Squavit vibes. Not in that it looks like Squavit, although I think it kind of does. But more in the fact that I just don't really get a feel for it. It doesn't really look like there's much interesting here. Like, you've got this bit here, which, okay, that's a thing, I guess. This here as well. it just doesn't have anything too interesting to me. So I'm gonna give this as well a D tier. Scunch. This though, actually this is quite cool. So yeah, I can see this is the evolution. It looks like is it like wearing a hat, or is that just that might just be how it's been drawn. Yeah, I think the hands, they're quite nice big hands, and I think that's, you know, I quite like that. I like that it's on its tail. I quite like that as just as a general kind of design thing. Yeah, this is solid, I'd say. I'm actually going to give this a B tier, so going from a D tier to a B tier. I think this is a great design, yeah. Goatee, Game of the Year, yay. It feels like there's a lot going on here that doesn't really add to anything. Yeah, I mean, again, they seem to do a lot of these kind of big-eyed, you know, big-eyed cute creatures, which, I mean, I guess Pokemon does that as well, but I'm not really feeling it. These kind of almost sawn-off antlers, I'm guessing they are, because I'm guessing it's a goat. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that either. I mean, the big head is something that can put me off a Pokemon. Like the pre-evolution of the new fire grass Pokemon, that has a massive head and it really puts me off. But in this case, I think it's fine. Maybe it's because it's actually got these on here, but I don't really like these as a design decision. But just looking at kind of this and this, the tail, all of this, it's just a lot of fluff there, and I'm not really feeling it, so I'm going to give this a D tier. This, however, I'm feeling this more. The antlers are very, very chunky, very thick. I like that. The face, just the eyes, yeah, that's cool. Nice face shape. I would say the tail, I quite like the tail. Looks like a kind of, it's kind of, well, it's a sharp. It's almost like a kind of scorpion stinger kind of thing. I'm guessing that's not what it's meant to be. But yeah, nice. Yeah, nice design. Mouth flank, I'm gonna give. You know what? Again, I'm gonna give this a B. I think this is actually a really good design. So again, going from a D to a B. Rolder. Oh no, that's good. I like that. It's not amazing. But it's not like S tier. I would say this is a solid B tier. There's something about, I think, the general, these plates here, I think because of the color scheme and the general design, they kind of look like stakes, which is definitely not what's intended, and I think that does affect how I see it, and that's what kind of takes it down. But generally, if I can kind of just zone out of that, nice rugged design, it looks very strong, like the horn, like the legs. Yeah, I'd say B tier. Rolder is a B tier. Holchik. It's not bad. Something about it looks very... I'm not entirely sure, but there's something about it that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I'm not sure. But not enough. So I would say that it's going to be... I would say this is going to be a C tier. And it evolves. So let's see what that evolves into. Tental. You know what? I think I've figured out what it is about these. They look like naked people. And these legs especially kind of make it look like that. See, on paper, this feels like it should be an improvement, especially with those hands, the tails. But, okay, when it comes to Pokemon, I don't have an inherent problem with humanoid Pokemon, for example. And I guess it would be the same for Temtem. However, in a case, for example, like Incineroar, like it being humanoid, isn't the issue, but how the humanoid design is handled is an issue. And with this, it kind of feels like it's the legs. The legs just make me feel weird. Maybe it's just the pose that it's got. It looks way too suggestive. So overall, I'm going to say that this is probably a D tier. Yeah, if that's a C tier, that's a D tier, definitely. This, however, I think is better. I think this brings it back. So, Nagace, I think, brings it back up to a C tier. Still has some of the issues that Tental has, but I mean, I guess here the good elements kind of override the bad for me, just enough to get it to a C tier. So yeah, I would say C tier for this. So C, D, C. Orphle. It's a snake, I'm guessing. It's a snake with grass. It's like a kind of a... Is it like a cobra kind of thing? Or is it... No, it's not really. But I guess that's kind of possibly where the design inspiration comes from. C tier. Yeah, it's good. It's not anything special, but I would say that I like it. Nidrasil. Oh, no, I like this. I like this. I'm going to give that an A tier. I don't know what it is about... Okay, right, actually, I think there is something that I can figure out about it that I quite like. In general, it looks very similar to Orphle. Like, other than the fact that, you know, there's 3 of them and the head stuff is better. Okay. But I just really like, you know, just like the Hydra in general is just a really cool concept to me. And this kind of gets that for me. So there's kind of something more interesting to it than Orphle. But also, it reminds me of the King Ghidorah meme. You know, where it's got, you know, the 2 heads that look really tough. And then Kevin, who's just, he's a cheerful little chappy, you know, bit of a dirt. I like that. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's an A tier. It feels weird to be saying that when you've got this and this are practically the same in a lot of the design elements, but I don't know. This I like, but this I really like. Look, I'm not saying that, as I've said, I'm not an expert at you know, designs and stuff like that, character designs. I'm just going by vibe here. Banapai. I think if I could, I guess the point is that it's meant to look like it's engulfed in flames, but I feel like I would want to see maybe more of the face to really get a feel for this. I'll say C tier, because I do like it. I just kind of wish I could see more, because as it is, it just kind of looks like, you know, fluff. Capire. This actually, yeah, this is good. So I'm gonna say B tier. Yeah, you can see more definition in the body, which I guess is the point of Banapai, I'm guessing, is that you can't, because it's meant to look like it's engulfed in flames. But I do quite kind of prefer this. Nice strong legs, like the tail, nice big floofy tail. And even the head, I think, it is just a much cooler design. Yeah, I say B tier for that. Lapinite. I will say I like the colour scheme. Something about the colour scheme kind of works. This kind of turquoise and white and grey. That quite works for me. It actually kind of... This is probably complete rubbish, but it kind of reminds me of the Digimon Terriermon. I'm not sure why, if I'm honest. I would say C tier. I do like it. I like this crystal tail, actually. I do like it, but it doesn't really stand out to me, I guess. Yeah, I would say C tier. Oh, I like that. Azurok. I'm liking a lot of these crystalline kind of... I mean, I think I've only seen 1 or 2 other ones, but the crystalline look just kind of... It's kind of like Diamond Head from Ben 10. Like, that's always a cool design because, you know, crystals are cool. And yeah, I would say this is quite good. Nice strong fists and nice strong legs. And just in general, the way that the crystals have been used here. This is quite cool. I would say this is I'm going to give that an A tier, actually. I really like that. And Zenoreth, another A tier. This kind of plating that it's got, like, you can kind of see actually the evolution of, you know, it's got the markings there, the grey markings, but then it actually becomes some sort of like plating here. That's quite cool. The tail even, you know, even bigger, even more cool. The head crest, yeah, this is... Oh, no, actually, S tier. S tier for Zenoreth. I really like this. This would be kind of on my team if I were playing Temtem. Which I might play Temtem after this. These designs are actually convincing me that this is worth playing. Revel. I'm getting Nickit vibes from this, but I feel like I can't remember when Temtem released, but it might have been before Gen 8 dropped, so... I mean, I might be wrong about that. Either way, I mean, I guess I guess Nickit is quite a generic fox kind of based Pokemon anyway. So that kind of makes sense. I would say... Oh, what have I done? Let's get back to it. I would say that not much about this design really stands out to me. I'm going to say this is a D tier. It doesn't really stand out. Nothing offensive about it, but it doesn't stand out to me. It's fairly generic, I think. So yeah, D tier. Ahoy? No, Auhi. This is cooler. This is actually quite cool. I'd say B tier. This kind of blue flamey design, and especially the kind of headbandy part or eyebrows, kind of makes me think of a headband. Either way, I mean, this is kind of like the Rapidash effect. I know I keep comparing this, a lot of these to Pokemon, but it's the best point of reference that I have. But it's kind of the Rapidash effect. Rapidashes are fantastic. Well, yeah, it's a really solid design. Not maybe a fantastic, but it's a really solid design. But it's just a horse that's on fire. But that's all it needs to be. Because a horse on fire is a really cool design, you know? And sometimes there's a simplicity in that. This does kind of look just like a fox that's on fire. But that itself is just kind of cool. And to be fair, I do quite like where they've put the flames here. Like, kind of from the... Not from the armpit, but kind of, you know, the necky kind of area... The head there and the tail as well. I think that's quite good use of the idea. And yeah, I would say this is a B tier. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say an A tier. I think this deserves an A tier. Yeah, Auhi is an A tier. Bigu. Nope. I'm giving this an F tier. I do not like that. This is definitely my least favourite so far. I mean, it's a slug, so I can forgive it for its general kind of blobby, you know, shape, because it's a slug or snail or whatever it's meant to be. But it's the lips. No, the lips and the eyes. Something about it, no. And then just this here, no, I'm not liking that. These kind of suction cut. No, I don't like this. This is an F tier. I do not like this. Babawa, better. It's still got those lips. You know, actually, looking at Bigu, I think the fact that it's got these teeth is one of the things. The teeth combined with the lips, that's a big... Oh, I don't like that. Whereas this has got its mouth closed, so I can't see that. I still don't like a lot of the design elements, but in this case, it's less offensive to me. I would say this is a D tier. Yeah. Oh yeah, D tier. Definitely a D tier for me. Ob1. This is adorable, and I like it. I really like this. I really like this. You know what? I'm going to give this an S tier. I'm not sure what it is, but something about this I really like. Colour scheme there. Quite like it. Like how it combines with that. just I like round designs as not entirely, but round designs do quite do me. I don't know, there's something about this I really like. It's very simple design in comparison to the rest of the Temtem I've seen. Very simple design, but I like it. Very effective. So Ob 1, yes. Ob 10, not as good. I'm gonna say C tier. I'm just not quite sure what I'm looking at here. Ob 1, yeah, I can see that. I can see what you are. Ob 10, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at. It's like, is that on the top of its head? What's this then? Why has this not got something? I'm not sure what it is that I'm looking at here. It looks very much like Ob 1, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what this is. Actually, I'm gonna give it a D tier, not a C tier, because yeah, I really like this design, and I'm just not sure where they've gone with it. So yeah, so from an S tier to a D tier, that's disappointing. Kaku, oh, this is a cute little thing here, but then this, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but is that meant to be like a face, like, you know, kind of peacock feather kind of face? Like, it's not actually the face, but it's meant to, you know, look like it. Because if so, I quite like that, actually. I quite like that. I'm gonna give that an A tier, because this is adorable, this thing. But then this, I just think I quite like this. I like what we've got here. Yeah, I'll give this an A tier. Saku. Okay, so what's going through my head is this is very much like Venusaur, in that you've got this kind of I mean, it doesn't look like it's necessarily based on a toad or a frog, but it kind of has that vibe to it, with this kind of flower thing coming out of it. But this flower thing is actually a propeller. That actually reminds me of an idea I had for a regional variant of Venusaur, which was basically kind of this idea, which was Venusaur, except it had a propeller on its back rather than a flower, and it would be a steel and flying type. But I don't really like this design. I don't really like it. I'm gonna say that this is an E tier. It's quite a happy chap, but overall, looking at this, I really like this, and this just, I don't know, it's not, I'm not feeling it. I think if this was meant to be a propeller, it just doesn't quite look like it, I guess. Propellers are typically quite straight because, you know, obviously they need to catch wind. And I know that you don't need to be entirely realistic with designs for a game like this. I'm not saying you do, but I do kind of think that it does affect my enjoyment of the design, just because I just can't imagine how it works, I guess. I don't know. I just think in general, the shape of the body, I mean, it's a round shape, but it's not like perfectly round. And also just the legs, yeah, I'm gonna give this an E tier. Valash. This is a cool design. Again, I can see crystal is a type, so that's why we've got so many of these crystal types. But yeah, this is like a crystal badger, and I really like it. Those claws, that goes hard. Yeah, I would say A tier for this design. I'm not gonna push it up to an S tier. I kind of want to, but I don't quite think it goes there. If this was a Pokemon, I'd like it, but it wouldn't be like one of my absolute favorites. So I'm gonna say A tier. Towley. I mean, it's got a little bit of attitude, but I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, I'd say D tier here. Again, it's just a little bit too busy with the colours, just the patterns on its body. and it kind of just distracts from whatever's happening. This thing here, I'm not really sure about. This is its evolution. Owl. I don't know how to say that, but however you say it, this is a better design than that. I would say this is a B tier. I think it's quite a strong design. Like the kind of mane here that it's got. That's quite cool. Yeah, I would say nice solid B tier. Liking what they've done here. Yeah. Banshee. So this also evolves from the same Pokemon. This is a gender-specific evolution, it seems. I don't like this as much, though. Maybe it's... I don't tend to like pink Pokemon, for example. That's not, like, entirely... Like, I can like pink Pokemon. There are pink Pokemon that I like. However, I don't really like pink and overly feminine Pokemon a lot of the time. And for me, this is kind of that, so I'm going to put this in D tier as well. It just doesn't really do it for me. It's not bad, it's just it doesn't do it for me. Geolis, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. Very sleek and slender. I like this kind of knee spike design that you've got here. There's Pokemon and just general, character designs that do that, and I quite like it. The scythe kind of, praying mantis kind of thing here. The crystals just kind of floating above the head. Very good, very solid, very good design. I like this. I would say S tier. I think this is a design that, again, if it was a Pokemon, it would be a Pokemon that I would really be into. Oclura. This has the same issues that I have with very blobby forms of Pokemon, of character design. However, I actually like a lot about this design. The fact that this is kind of its mouth, but also its eyes, or it's meant to be maybe disguised as its mouth. That's cool. Yeah. I would say, even though it's got the blobby design, I actually quite like. I'd say this is a B tier. Yeah, I like what's going on with the mouth here. And it's got kind of, I guess, Mimikyu vibes, actually. The idea of being hidden inside. Or even Tangela, I guess. So, yeah, I would say B tier. Mix. Ooh. You got some Alien X vibes here. The Alien X from Ben 10 Alien Force. Like, that's not too shabby. I'm gonna give this an S tier. I think if I were to play Temtem, I think that Crystal type would just be my favourite type. Because I like a lot of what they're doing with these Crystal types. They're just really cool. Like, look at those feet. And it, like, coming straight off of the black into the Crystal. And then what they do with these kind of arm things. Like, oh, that's and the head crest. That's just, I think that for both of these, the turquoise on black really works as well. S tier. Mix is an S tier. Definitely. Raiba. Cool little puppy Pokemon. Don't think it's any much more than that. I would say that I'm not really like too keen on the head shape, and I would say this is a C. I do like it, but that's because I'm a dog person. So, yeah, I'd say this is a C tier. Nothing especially special. Raise. Okay, I'm wrong. That's not a puppy. That's a kitten. I'm not reevaluating. It's definitely a C tier for me. Raise, though, I would say is a... You know what? This kind of... I'm going to go back to Pokemon. This kind of gives me male Pyroar vibes. But it kind of gives me vibes of what I wish male Pyroar was. I really like female Pyroar. I think that, like, the single, like, hair piece on female Pyroar is really cool. But I don't like male Pyroar as much. I don't know why, but just the general head, the mane just doesn't work for me. And the design of the face as well. Whereas with Raise, I think that what we have here is really cool, and I wish that Pyroar was more like that. So I'm gonna give that an A tier. I think this is really solid, nice. I like these nice strong legs. I like the just in general. Even with this, I like the general design of like the you know, the fur around the legs. I quite like that. And yeah, nice, just nice design. A tier, yeah, definitely A tier. And Raikön doesn't really seem to change much, apart from just becoming bigger. But you can see it gets stronger. The mane, that is a majestic mane. Yeah, A tier again, A tier, really good. What the heck is this? Like, what? Pukey. I'm not sure if I want to burn it or burn it with fire or just cuddle it. It's oh my god, it's so ugly. I love it. What is happening here? I'm giving that an S tier. My first reaction was I hate that, and then I looked at it for like another second more. And I was like, I love that. I don't know why. This is just something about this. Like this, it's just it's just so long. It's so long, and what is this? I mean, I'm guessing it's like a hammerhead shark kind of thing. I don't care. It's bizarre and weird, and I love it. What the heck? It's S tier, easy. Piranhant. I like this as well, but I'm gonna give it an A tier just because it's got a lot of the weird design that Pukey has. But it's the I don't know. It looks more standard, and the bizarreness of this is what I like about it. But I do still really like this. I like this. I like that it is a kind of a mix between a piranha and a hammerhead. I like the flat face. That's cool. I like the teeth as well. Actually, that's really quite. I quite like this design, and even just like the fins and the tail. I like the design of those. But I would say that it isn't quite as well. It isn't quite as this. So I'm going for I'm going for an A tier for that rather than. But I do really like it. Scarawat. See, this is the issue because this is like an electric insect, but it also very much feels quite similar to Galvantula, and Galvantula I think is a fantastic design. So this is just not. I mean, I'm guessing that. Well, when I'm doing this, I'm trying to look only at the Temtem that I'm looking at and not look ahead, even though it's on screen. So right now I have seen Scarawat, and I can only see the next one kind of out of the like bottom of my eye. And I can see that the next one isn't evolution, but I'm just trying to judge Scarawat on what it is. And I do still like the design, but I would say it's only a C tier just because I can't stop comparing it to Galvantula, and just like these legs, I guess, and the design is too soft, and this body as well. It's large and it's a C. I like it. It's got some cool elements, but not a massive amount. And then Scaravolt. Now this is why I was making so sure that I didn't look ahead, because like this, I from all I could see, just trying not to look at it, it looked like it was going to be good, and it is good. This is a great design, and I know I said that Galvantula I think is a great design. I would say Galvantula for me personally is an A tier design. I really like it. This is better than Galvantula. This design goes hard. So S tier it has to be. This here, this kind of it's okay. So it's definitely not spider based, I don't think. I mean, Scaravolt, I'm guessing it's Scarab based. But this here, I really like this. Like, that's a great design, I think. Just the general The color scheme is great. I mean, I can see it's electric fire. I'm trying not to judge too hard on types, but you know, that's a great. I mean, in Pokemon there are only electric fire Pokemon is flipping Oven Rotom, isn't it? Heat Rotom. So like, why don't we have something like this? You know, this is an S tier design for me. Just great. I mean, it's quite a busy design, but like everything feels like it contributes to making it just look cool. Like just the sharpness of these claw things, these kind of fluffy bits. Not even fluffy, but they kind of look kind of electric-y. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah, just in general, S tier design for me. Hoglip, do not like. I'm gonna say this is an E tier. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I guess maybe it just kind of looks like a cartoon character rather than it looks like a cartoon character rather than I was about to say a Pokemon. I mean, I guess that is kind of what I'm judging it on. It just kind of looks like a cartoon character. It looks like it's wearing clothes. One of the things I don't like about Pokemon is when it looks like they're wearing clothes. And you know, especially something like Hitmonchan, for example, looks like it's wearing clothes. Whereas something like Cinderace, I'm a little more forgiving of because it doesn't look like it's wearing clothes. It actually just looks like that's part of its body. This, though, again, looks like it's wearing clothes. It looks like that's kind of a spacesuit that it's put on, and I don't like it. So yeah. I mean, you got this here, this kind of fire stuff. That's cool, but it just doesn't save it for me. I would say this is an E tier. Hedgine, better, a lot better. I'd still say I think actually the color scheme isn't quite doing it for me. But this has still got quite a lot of good stuff. I like I like this flamey kind of stuff. And I guess yeah, I'm gonna give this a C tier. Color scheme isn't doing it for me. And I don't necessarily think that there's anything that stands out about it, but I do think it's a decent design. So C tier. Osuchi. I guess I could give this a C tier as well. You've got this kind of rocky crest. That's okay. I like this on the tail. The kind of the rock club on the tail. And this actually quite this. I don't know what to call it other than a choker. I quite like that. Other than that, though, it's got like good rocky elements, but the rest of the design is a bit nondescript, which I know it like every design has got to have certain elements that pull attention more than others. But I think that the rock just does all of the work here, and the rest of it just doesn't really do much for me. So I'm gonna say C tier. Osukan, better. I like this. Yeah, I mean, it looks a lot more armored. Unlike here, I actually like the body shape here, especially the legs. Quite powerful looking legs and powerful looking arms as well. Oh, whoops. Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that again, but I also like the armor here better than here. So yeah, I'm going to give this a B tier. Osuaki. It is very tempting to just say that, oh, it's a Machamp clone. Pokemon did not invent the idea of a four-armed fighting creature. And it is not the first, nor is it the last. You know, Mortal Kombat did that, Ben 10 did that, and now Temtem has done it. And that's fine. That in itself is okay. I'm just not really sure. I actually prefer Osukan's design here. Doesn't have it. Does it still have it? No, it doesn't have a tail. That's a shame because the tail is actually one of the things I quite liked. Which actually I guess does actually mirror. That actually mirrors Machop in a way. The fact that Machop starts with a tail and then loses it as it evolves. Obviously Machoke also doesn't have a tail, but. Yeah, I'm struggling to see this as anything other than just a Machamp clone. Even the head crest kind of thing. I know that Machamp has them kind of all on the top of the head, but it still has kind of 3 crests on its head. So, yeah, it's not bad. I'll give it that. It's not bad. It's a decent design, but I much prefer Osukan. So I'll say C tier. C tier for Osukai. Sipit. This is flipping... This is Surf-etched, but probably before Surf-etched. Which is... You know what? Like... Again, it's difficult for me to judge it without comparing it to Surf-etched. I think I prefer Surf-etched definitely, but then I really like Surf-etched. So I do like the fact that it's got a Psy. I think that's quite cool because that's something that I don't think Pokemon would necessarily reference. I'm not saying that a Psy is a super obscure weapon or anything. You know, you've got characters in media like Raphael and Electra who use Psys. So it's not exactly a massively obscure weapon, but I don't think it's something that Pokemon would do. They usually go a lot more generic than that. So I do like that it's got a Psy, but I don't really like whatever's happening with the helmet here. And I'm also not so keen on the just the general body shape. So I am going... This is one that I think that could do with an evolution. So I'm gonna say that this is a C tier. I do like some of what it's doing, especially just using a Psy, but I just kind of wish there was more to it. Pyko, it's a fiery gecko. Not bad. I'm gonna say C tier. I don't really have much to say on this. It's cool. I'm not sure how I feel about this kind of boily tail. But I do quite like this. Although I do have to say that as a rule, this kind of explosive flame thing, I have a hard time with it sometimes. Typhlosion is a kind of example of that. That I don't really like Typhlosion because that explosive flame is all it has going for it in terms of design. Whereas something like Blaziken, which still has that as a design element, but doesn't rely on it, I think is much better. This is a design that I think is kind of in between, where there is more interesting about it, but not much really. It feels like most of this design, the legs I don't think are particularly great, as like they're very soft. It's a very soft design. I mean, you've got, again, the head crest is a bit soft. Yeah, just in general, I think that these are the main thing that kind of draws interest, but I don't think it's bad without it, unlike I do with Typhlosion. So I would say this is a C tier. Drakash, better. Again, just comparing to Typhlosion, this is a lot better as a design. Like, you take away those explosive flames, you've still got a really cool design. You add those explosive flames, it becomes even cooler. That's actually kind of my whole thing with Blaziken, where when it has its wrist flames on, it's so much cooler, but without them, it's still an excellent design. So I would say this is an S tier. I really like what they're doing here. And I think that this is an example of exactly what I mean when I think that Typhlosion is genuinely one of the worst designed Pokemon. Because if you turn off the flames of a design like this, it's still excellent. If you turn off the flames of a design like Typhlosion, there is nothing to it. So, Drakash, S tier, and thank you for giving me a platform to explain why I hate Typhlosion. Yes. Crystal! That's an original name. I mean, I'm guessing it's Crystal Turtle, but, like, I mean, Pokemon does that kind of stuff too, so it's not a big deal. But, yeah, I feel like I've seen this one before, but not really into it, I don't think. It's not bad. D tier. It's very generic to me. I mean, I do kind of like what's going on with the head, but that's about it. D tier. Cheryl! Something about that name tickles me, but I'm not judging them on names. better. I think this is a C tier. Again, still not anything especially amazing to me, but I am liking what we're seeing here. So C tier, quite like all of the crystals here. Yeah, C tier. Tortonite, this very much gives me Turtonator vibes, and I don't really like the design of Turtonator, but one of the things I don't like about Turtonator is the face, and this is a much better face shape. I like the design of the tail. That's a nice design for the tail. And yeah, just in general, I'd say this is a B tier. Yeah, definitely B tier. Yeah, I quite like what's being laid down here. A better design than Turtonator, which is my kind of closest comparison. Inky, I like this. I like this a lot. It gives me very Zeraora vibes. I'm sorry I keep comparing to Pokemon, but it's flipping Temtem, come on. But, you know, actually I like this more than Zeraora. I'm going to say this is an S tier. I like this design a lot. I like this design a lot. I like what's this head bit. I like the kind of mane here as well. The color scheme I'm really liking. These kind of spikes on the knees. Yeah, just a lot here that I really like. Even whatever this is, like this tail or mane or whatever this is, I like it. Yeah, S tier for me. Inky is a great design. Showlite. No, do not like. This is gonna be an E tier for me. Kind of gives me Gerda vibes in terms of the face. Just something about it's kind of ugly. I think it's the nose and also this kind of eye shadowy bit as well. And then I'm not really sure what this is meant to be. Like, yeah, it's just not really clear what it's meant to be. Or yeah, E tier. I don't like this. Showlant, better. Not amazingly though. Amazingly so though. It does very much look like a human in a mask. I'm gonna be honest. And as I've said, I don't have an issue with humanoid Pokemon, but like, I'm not digging how this one in particular has been done. So I'm gonna say that that's a D tier, better than Showlite, but I'm not feeling this one. D tier. Psychros. This looks see, if we go all the way back up to the top, where was it? I'm getting a similar vibe as I did to Chromion. In that it looks very digital. I know digital is a type, but it looks very digital. It looks very digital to me, and very in a way that just doesn't work for me. But at the same time, I kind of like it. I like these kind of handcuffs. I like actually what they've done with the fingers, with those little red bits on them. The general body shape I quite like. This bit here, I'm gonna say this is an A tier. I really like this design. See, knowing that digital is a type in this game, this is kind of what I hope for. It still looks like an animal. It doesn't just like look straight up like a robot, but it has those digital elements kind of in it. Yeah, I really like this. A tier. Hocus, what? Oh, is that? Is that meant to be like a bull? Okay, I've just gone like in the space of like 3 seconds. I've gone from what the heck is that? I don't like it. So, oh, actually, that's a pretty cool idea. The idea of this being a flag waving in front of a bull. I'm guessing that's what it is. And I will give it bonus points for the fact that this isn't a red cape, because obviously bulls don't. Bulls are colorblind. They can't see red. So if that's what it's meant to be, nice reference to the fact that it doesn't have to be a red cape. Overall, I'd say this is a C tier. Still not like massively into it, but like I can appreciate what it's doing with the design there. if that is indeed what it's meant to be. If it's not, then whatever. But that's what it makes me think of, and I like it. But, like, not massively so. Pocus. Really? I'm gonna be honest. Respect for the fact that you saw Abracadabra and Alakazam and decided you were gonna do the same thing except with Hocus and Pocus. Like, I have respect for that. And actually, Pocus, I like its design. It's it's actually, looking at the type, I'm surprised that this isn't like the equivalent. What's it called? The melee type. Melee type. I don't know how to say that word. Melee. I'm gonna say melee because I'm fairly sure that's how we pronounce it in Britain. But the only time I ever hear it is when people talk about the game. So, melee type. I'm surprised this isn't a melee type. It kind of looks like it. I think nice slender design. Yeah, I'd go B tier for this. Yeah, I'm still not massively into it, but like, well, no, actually, to be fair, B tier is good. So I am quite into it. I'm just not like, it's not the A tier for me. But yeah, quite a nice design. I quite like it. Kind of convinced now that this isn't a bull. But I'd still say this is a C tier. Yeah, B tier. Smallzy. This one's a character, isn't it? It's just a grumpy little electric bolt. Liking the colour. That, you know what? There's a lot of turquoise actually in Temtem. I've noticed. Which, yeah, I mean that's fine, but it does feel like there's a very like strong correlation in how they colour the Temtem, which I guess is an aesthetic choice. But yeah, with this, the turquoise and the grey on an electric kind of bolty kind of thing, I quite like that. Got a little character. I'll give this an A tier. I really like this. I think it's kind of like Gengar in that I'm not massively into Gengar's design, but what boots it up for me is its personality, and the personality you can see just by looking at, like, it's just by looking at it, like it's this massive Cheshire cat grin. Great, you know, it's a great design on merit of the personality its design inspires, rather than, you know, the technical aspects of its design. And this is kind of the same, I guess. I don't think the design itself is bad. I think it's elevated though to an A tier by the personality that you can kind of see here. You know, this little grumpy electric blob. Sparzy. I have seen this somewhere before. I think when I was looking for resources for this video, I have seen Sparzy before. I will say that I'm not as into it as I am Smallzy. It's still got that personality. I think actually something about the design itself I'm not as into. And you know what? I'm going to zoom in because what I think it is, and this is going to sound ridiculous, it's the fact that you can see past its teeth in like here. Like with something like Gengar, it's got that, you know, massive grin, but the way they design it is so that the teeth are all you can see, whereas this, you can kind of see where the teeth end, and I'm not really into that as a design. And I also think just the general how, like, these bits of the mouth, how the smile kind of pushes, I'm not really feeling that kind of face shape. So not bad. I'd still give this like a B tier. I still quite like the design. It's still got like the colour scheme. It's still got the personality. But something about the actual physical aspects of the design kind of puts me off more than Smallzy. And then Golzy is the evolution of Sparzy. And yeah, you know what? It's got a different colour scheme. It kind of loses the turquoise in favour of this kind of, you know, almost orangey browny colour. But I actually quite like it. Liking the, you know, the mane here. Very strong arms, I like this. I'm going to say this actually goes back up with Smallzy as an A tier. I wouldn't say S tier, but it is good and I really like it. Mushi. Not really feeling this. I can like a mushroom Pokemon, for example. I've just looked at the... Okay, right. So I've just looked at the evolution, and I'm just gonna ignore that for a second, and just try and judge Mushi on what it is. I'm gonna say this is a D tier. It's not anything that I am particularly into. There's nothing I can latch onto about this design. I think, like, especially looking at the face, it's meant to be cute, but it just doesn't kind of have that vibe to me. I don't really think it's that cute. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this is a D tier. But what the heck is this? Why on earth is there a basketball mushroom Temtem? What the... Okay, they're not basketballs, but they look like basketballs. Are they meant to look like basketballs? I'm genuinely unsure at this point. And that's kind of freaking me out. I will say I like it more than Mushi. I like the body shape more. I know I say that just kind of when a Pokemon becomes more humanoid. I just think the slender look works more. I will say though, yeah, I like a lot of what this is actually doing. I'll go for B tier for this. And if that is meant to be basketballs, that's flipping amazing. Right. You know, I am actually going to zoom in on the rest of these. Magmis. Weird head shape. I'm not feeling that. Didn't even realise they were arms. The arms are too short for me. I'm going to say E tier. It's not incredibly offensive to me, but there's just too many elements that I don't like. The head and the arms especially. And the rest of it just doesn't save it for me. So E tier. Bastion. This is a lot better. This is an A tier for me, I'd say. It's still got that kind of element to the head, but I think it's handled a lot better here. I like this. It's kind of Garchompy. Or just, you know, generally land sharky, with all these fins and stuff. Yeah, I like this. A tier. This is one that I think is really cool. Umishi. That's... You know what, this is actually kind of cute, but it's also got this kind of cool little spiky crest... Not crest, but, you know, these flaring bits on its head. I quite like that. I'm going to say A tier for this, actually. I really like this. I really like this. I'm not sure what it is about it, but this is a really cool design. Whilst also being a cute design, I think. Ukama. Yeah, you know what? A tier for this as well. No legs, but that works because of the fact that it's a... Okay, that kind of feels obvious now that I say it. No legs. It's meant to be a water... I'm guessing it's water type, yeah. But yeah, I think it actually takes a lot of what worked about Umishi and just, you know, continues it. I like these ears, or whatever they're meant to be. I like actually these frilly bits as well. They actually work for me. I can be a bit hit or miss on frills on designs, but in this case I quite like them. The head, just like this general, these spiky bits. Yeah, good design. A tier. Galvanid. Looks like... I'm not sure what it looks like. It looks like Elekid's wearing a Magnemite on its head or something. I'm not really feeling this headpiece and this helmet or whatever it is. And maybe I should be? Maybe I don't know. It just feels very disconnected from the rest of the design. Which I feel like is the point. I feel like it's meant to be a helmet, a removable helmet. But yeah, it's just not working for me. But overall, I do still think the design is decent, so I'll say C tier. Reignit. You know what? Okay, looking at these two designs, what I think works better about this one than this one is that Reignit has yellow on the helmet, whereas Galvanid doesn't, and it has this kind of silvery bit. And actually, just in general, the colours of the helmet on Reignit are much more integrated into the colours of the body, and the colours of the body on Reignit are much more integrated into the helmet. Galvanid doesn't have that. And I guess you could say this is a Cubone Marowak situation where Cubone is wearing its mother's mask on its head, whereas with Marowak it has become a part of its body. But I think a metal helmet is less interesting than a skull for that kind of concept. So yeah, I'd give this a D tier. This I would give a B tier. I think this is a great design. Yeah. I like what's going on with these wrist things as well, the little bit electric bits, and the color scheme. Yeah, the yellow and the blue, the cyan kind of color. Yeah, that's good. Samzy, I've definitely seen this one somewhere before. I think. I think this is a really good design. B, yeah, B tier. Solid. There's nothing especially special about it, but it's got this. I like this kind of, the facial expression. It's very smiley with the eyes closed. It's cute. It's characterful, and just in general, the limbs look powerful. They look, I just like this design. It's hard to explain why, but I just like it. Baboong. Again, I do like the design. I would say this is a B tier. I like it for... I think I like Samzy better, but I still think that this falls within B tier. Yeah, I quite like what this is doing as well. Again, this kind of... this part of the arm being so much thicker than this part. I quite like that as a design. Yeah, again, B tier. Good design. Size Munch. I'm gonna say C tier for this. Something about this doesn't have as much that I like. I like the design of the tail, the patterns of the tail. But hold on, if I just... yeah, I'm just looking at the two, and I just think this one looks a bit more... I'm not sure what it is, but it just looks a bit more powerful. Not powerful, it doesn't look more powerful, but just something about the design. Maybe it's the facial hair, actually. This facial hair just looks a little bit... I'm not sure what it looks like. I'm just not feeling it as much. Yeah, I'd say this is C tier. B, and C for me. Zizza. This is a great design. I like this. A tier. A tier. That's a cool... loving the color scheme. Loving the general just kind of almost bony look. These horns. Yeah, A tier. Nice spiky. Yeah, A tier. I like this design a lot. Gorong. Decent design. I'd say this is a B tier. I wouldn't put it any higher than B tier, just because I think... I don't know. I'm not sure why. Maybe I don't think I quite like this kind of baboon face. Like, I'm going to sound really weird here. The design of a baboon's face I'm not super into. And I know that, it's not designed. but I don't like the look as well. I mean, I don't know if this is a baboon, but whatever animal that is, I'm not quite sure I like the look of its face. And so using that is a bit of a turn off to me. But there are still great elements, like, again, the arms. And yeah, B tier, it's still a great design. Mitty. I'm gonna say D. Yeah, because I'm not sure I can really think... like, this thing around its neck, I'm not sure what that's meant to be. The head is okay, but the head is the only bit that really stands out to me. And there's just nothing else about it. So, D tier, I would say, is definitely it. And I'm not, oh, I don't like this. And I think it's, what is it? I don't, okay, the head, I don't really like. It's not just the head, actually, it's also the neck. Something about how the neck leads into the head, actually. Yeah, I'd say E tier for this. I don't really like this. It also might be these kind of patterns here. I don't really like this kind of patterning that they do here. Yeah, this is actually, Diggersby has, I think, got, I might be completely wrong about that, but I think it's got quite a similar kind of patterning on it, and it's kind of the main thing that I don't like about Diggersby. So yeah, I think E tier for this, I'd say. Momo. It's a wolf. It's a pretty cool wolf. B tier. Solid. I mean, it's difficult to get a wolf, I was about to say Pokemon, but a wolf design wrong. I will say that I do think maybe a little more definition actually in the neck. I'm gonna give this a C tier, because now that I've kind of seen that about the neck, it kind of looks a bit derpy to me. So, C tier. I still like it, but not as much as I initially thought. Curry. Getting Cubone vibes from this. I don't know if that's meant to be a skull or just a part of the head. It's probably just meant to be part of a head. C tier. Nothing really special, but I do like the design of the head. Karen, okay, it's definitely meant to be a skull. And actually, I like this a lot. I like the design of the skull here. Whether it's meant to be any specific other Temtem, I don't know. But I really like the design of the skull. I'm gonna say A tier. I think this works for me. Yeah. Yeah. Again, you've got this kind of patterning that I'm not really into, but I can kind of actually ignore it in this case because there's just more to look at that I like. Unlike with, what was it? Sanby, where there wasn't really much here that I liked, so this patterning here just kind of put me off. Whereas in this one, I like this. I like, you know, a lot of the design elements. So this here does kind of take it down for me, but I still think it's an A tier because there's just enough here that I like. Spriol, that's adorable. That's how you make it. That's how you make a cute design. I'm gonna say B tier. I think I've seen cuter, but it is pretty adorable. And yeah, there's not much else to it other than being, you know, adorable. So I won't put it any more than B tier, but it is a B tier. Then Deandry. I'm just calling it Deandry. I'm gonna give this a D tier. I'm just not getting much of a vibe off of this. See, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I just don't. There's something disconnecting with me. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like this is one that would actually be very popular, but I'm just not feeling it. And I'm not sure. And it's weird because I really like Spriol, but I just don't get Deandry. So D tier. Cerneath, I like better. I would say back up to B tier. These antlers, they work for me. Just a generally strong body shape. And I like this kind of neck piece. That's good. I like that. Yeah, I would say B tier. Toxolotl. It's an axolotl. Okay, I love axolotls. And actually, this has got a nice goofy personality. I'm actually quite liking the kind of rainbow adornment on its head, actually. But if this is not an axolotl, that's actually really weird because it's furry. This is a really unusual design, if you actually kind of look at it. And I said I wasn't basing this on, you know, names, but I can guess that this is like meant to be based partially on an axolotl, but it's really weird design for an axolotl, but I kind of like it. I'll say B tier. Yeah, I'll say B tier. Noxolotl, very majestic. I'll say A tier, not S tier. I would say, you know, it's very, you know, these bits here, I do think add to the majesty, these kind of fluffy bits. I also think it's what makes me less keen on the design as well, which is a bit of an oxymoron, but still, I think it's an A tier. This is a really great design, I think. Very solid. And again, I like the evolution from the last design, actually. And I like this kind of what they do with these eyes here. That's quite cool. Blues. Okay, so again, it's okay. It does kind of have that blobby design, but it's not actually a particularly bad example of it, I don't think. But I do actually think I'm not as keen on the body shape, but I do like its personality that it's showing, and this is intriguing to me. This kind of pollution thing. It's very much feels like it's a kind of Grimer, you know, wheezing kind of thing. I would say C tier. I like it. I like it. Goulda. Yeah, I actually, this kind of, I have been very vocal recently about the fact that I really like the Grimer and Muck line, specifically as an evolution line rather than as individual Pokemon, because of how they take a very similar concept, but they convey two completely different personalities with it. And that's not what's happened here, but I think what I'm trying to get at is that with Grimer and Muck, they create this kind of really clever, not commentary, it's Pokemon, but a really clever representation of pollution, and you know how Muck is so polluted compared to Grimer that it can barely hold itself up. You got a kind of similar thing here with Goulda, and I quite like that. So I'll say B tier for this. I quite like how this builds on Blues, even though it doesn't necessarily change much on paper about the design. But I do quite like, you know, that they've gone the kind of Muck direction with that. Zephyroth. Bit too frilly for me, but I do also quite like some of what it's doing. I like the crystals on the wing. I like the, you know, the claws. Not so keen on the face, but I do like the tail. I do like actually these bits of fluff around the legs, and to be fair, the feet as well. I'll say C tier. There's a bit too much going on for me, but I still quite like quite a bit of what is going on there. Volorend. Yeah, actually very similar. I would say C tier. Yeah, I would say it doesn't feel very different, if I'm honest. It feels like it just gets a bit bigger, which I know is a common criticism of many Pokemon. And I don't necessarily agree with it a lot of the time, but yeah, they just look very similar, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do think I prefer this, but I'd still say it's C tier. Grumvel. This is weird. And I'm not sure if that's a bad thing, if I'm honest. I don't like the face. But also that's kind of what makes it hilarious to me. I'm going to give this a C tier, because I definitely don't dislike it, and I'm definitely not neutral on it. But there's just things about it that I'm not sure I like. The general body shape, the face, they're kind of off-putting. But that's also what makes it not neutral to me. Like, it's my feelings on this are weird. I'm going to say C tier and just be done with it. It's weird. What? That evolves from that? I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say S tier, I'm gonna say A tier. I'm gonna have a little restraint for this. Yeah, I like a lot of this. Compared to this, the rocks here are, you know, not very sharp. They're just kind of more plating. Here, they're sharp, and I like that. I like the yellow that they've incorporated into the design. I'm guessing it's it's electric type. I like what they've done with that. And yeah, I would say 8 tier. I really like this design. I think it still has a lot of this, you know, it still has that kind of facial expression that's kind of weird, but I think it works a lot better in the context of this design rather than this design. So yeah, I'd say 8 tier for Grumper. Genki. I like the color scheme. Yeah, know what? I'm going to give this a B tier. I'm not sure why, actually, because this is the kind of design I typically wouldn't like. But then again, that happens in Pokemon as well. For example, Comfey is a Pokemon that in every way should be a Pokemon that I don't like its design. But I actually quite like its design. This is kind of similar. There's a lot of stuff about this I don't like. I do like the color scheme and these horny things. But the rest of it, I feel like is something that I wouldn't be into. But I'm kind of into it, so I'll say B tier. Gazuma, it's your boy Gazuma. I'm sure no one's made that joke before. I have no idea. I'm not a Temtem fan. Again, beat it. Yeah, this is actually really. This feels more in line with what I would expect to like, rather than what was that one called? Genki. It feels more in line with what I expect to like. And so I like it. So yeah, beat it. Definitely beat it. This is a great design. Osira. This is a decent design. Liking the kind of wave aesthetic of this. Liking these bits on the head and the horn. Yeah, beat it. Solid. Wouldn't say I'm, you know, wouldn't say it's, you know, one of the favourites that I've seen, but beat it. It's a great design. Yaola. This is another one that has a lot of personality, I think. Not too keen on the body shape, I have to say. If I'm comparing, it's just like, no, neutral. There doesn't seem to be an ice type in this, which I guess kind of makes sense. But it kind of gives me, not Essering, sorry, Beartic vibes. But I don't know. I think it plays the face a bit too straight. Like it feels too much like they've designed it on, you know, a bear. I'm not sure what these are as well. I don't think I really like that. But then there's bits that I like here. You know, these bits on the head. The arms look quite powerful. The claws I like. Again, I don't really like the body shape. So I'll say a C tier. There's bits I like, but it's not quite landing as much as I would like it to. Dropley. Okay, when I just kind of first saw this, I didn't think much of it. I do like that it's kind of water. This is kind of a mane of water with like these little rocks inside. I do quite like that. It's quite a cute one. Quite, you know, got character. I'll give this a B tier. This is a solid design. I'm guessing it's going to evolve. Yes, it does. Gary Oak. Again, I'm not ranking names. They must have known what they were doing there. Yeah, I like this webbing on this. I like how they evolve the kind of this bit with the rocks as well. What did I give that? I gave that a B tier, didn't I? I would give this an A tier actually. I like what they've done with this design. Brockhoblin. Someone's been playing too much Breath of the Wild. Okay, Brockhoblin. Nice character. I do like what's going on here with the kind of, I want to say mane, but just kind of the general leaves around the face. I would say that's all I like here. So I'm going to say C tier because I do like it.
it's just not like amazing to me. Brockhawk. I like this better, definitely. I'd say B tier. I like this, whatever this is. This is like, I'm not sure if that's wood or like genuine just a horn that's been ripped off of, you know, a creature and it's holding it on its head. I don't know. Whatever it is, I quite like this. Or maybe it's actually, no, it's just its own horn that's been kind of torn off or something, like partly cut off. I guess. Yeah, I would say B tier. I like this mouth especially, actually. This kind of mouth design, I can feel that. I get that. And also nice near the claws. Yeah, B tier. Brocolum. Yeah, B tier. I'm not so keen on the shape of the head, but actually no, I do quite like the block sticking out of it. That's weird, but it works. But yeah, overall, I actually do quite like this design. It's again, I like this kind of mouth shape. It's got the leaves and everything that I liked on Brocoblin. Not broccoli, what? And yeah, just generally, yeah, solid design, B tier. Shuin, a dragon. I'd say B tier. I feel like this is one. If it wasn't for maybe. There's something about this that I'm not... You know what? You know what it is? I think actually if it didn't have these fins, I actually think I'd like it more. I think it just being a pure serpent... I know that, like, based on origin, those fins make sense. But I actually think without it, I would like it a lot more. So it's a B tier. I kind of wish it was an A tier. But something, like... If I'm just like isolating just the head, that's a fantastic design for a head, especially these antlers and the mouth design. But then you go here, and these are just a bit just too soft a design for me. So I do quite like even like the tails and even these bits here. It's just these kind of let it down for me. So B tier, I would say. Valiar, hold on. No, I thought Valiar was one that I've seen before, but no, apparently not. There's a horn. I like these kind of... like, this is cool. Is it... Oh, it's a mental type. Okay, cool. I like these ear things with the holes in. And the same thing they've done with the tail. I'd say B tier. Not necessarily anything, especially, you know, catching my eye more than others. But I do quite like what they've done with these ear things. So yeah, I'd say B tier for Valiar. Pupoise. Again, it looks like it's wearing clothes, which it puts me off. I do like this stick. And to be fair, I do think that the digital stuff here does it does kind of work in a certain way, but it still kind of looks like it's wearing clothes and a helmet. So, as much as... Yeah, I'm going to give this a C tier. It's not terrible, but yeah. Lotol. Oh, wait, is that... Oh, that evolves from Pupoise. It doesn't really look like... What the... What did they do to the poor thing? They've just... straight impaled him. I would say this is an A tier. I do like the fact that they've just impaled. Like, that's just a bizarre design choice, but I like it. I like the fact that it's gone from... Okay, I don't think that I like the colour scheme so much on this. But I like it better. I like the colour scheme better on this. I feel like maybe... Is that meant to be stuffing? Oh, it's meant to be stuffing. Oh, is that... See, it doesn't really come across as if this is like a stuffed toy or anything. But I do like what they've done here with it being like stuffing. And I like the red on the colour scheme. That's great. I like this A tier. Yeah, I'd say A tier. There's a lot about this design I like. Kalazu. It's a squid. C tier. I like it, but there's not really much there, I don't think. I will say I prefer it to Malamar as a squid Pokemon. I'm not really keen on Malamar's design. I like this design better. I like the color scheme actually. But I would say there's still not much going on here, so C tier. Calabis. I mean, I'd say this is a B tier. I do quite like it. I do quite like a lot of what's going on here. Yeah, B tier. I prefer the color scheme on Calazu, I'd say, but Calabis is still pretty cool. I like the horn. I just like the general beefier nature of it. Yeah, I'd say B tier. What's this one's name? Adoraborus. Are these meant to be wings? Because I quite like that as an idea. It looks like it's like sleeping, kind of an Abra kind of deal, maybe. I'm guessing it's mental. Yeah, toxic mental. Okay. It's got a very blobby design. No, and when I say that, I don't mean it as in how I've been saying it, but more just like not slimy, but like, you know what I'm saying. It's viscous, I guess. It looks like it's made of a liquidy kind of gooey substance. And I can get behind that. I would say it's a C tier. I wouldn't say that it's like something that I'm massively into, but it's okay. 2i. This looks like the Alantudic bird from Encanto. And that alone helps me to appreciate it. Is this... so right. Now, here, this is how you do a toucan Pokemon. Or toucan monster. Toucanon is terrible. It's just a toucan. This does something interesting with the idea of a toucan. I mean, you lose some of the definition in the beak, sure. But, like, you can still tell it's a toucan. And it just looks more unique. I would say I'm trying not to just rank this based on the fact that I really do not like Toucanon, and I don't agree with its design philosophy, and I like this one's design philosophy a lot more. I'm trying not to rank it based on that. However, I'm gonna give it... Now, if I'm being fair, I do like it. It's a C tier. I still not super into the color scheme, but I do like that it's not just a toucan. Tukai. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, the next... Whoa, however... Okay, so this is essentially like the Eevee, I'm guessing, of its... of Temtem, where it just kind of evolves into, you know, one of every type. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. This one is, I would say, C tier. Again, I like the color scheme for this, but I don't know, the watery wings are, I think, decent as a design choice. I'm just not into it, and I'm not sure I'm into this head thing either. So I'll give this a C tier as well. I'd still like it, but not as much. Tolkien I like more. It quite nicely avoids just being a Moltres. And yeah, I think that this is a decent... I'd say B tier. I like these wings, actually. I'm not sure why. Something about these kind of fingery bits I quite like. And I like the flames. The beak is good. This eyebrowy kind of plumage thing. Yeah, B tier. Tuvine. See, I've liked a lot of these Crystal Temtem. This one I'm not sure about. I think it just goes overkill with the crystals. I'm still going to say C tier just because the crystal aesthetic is typically quite good. I think it's the wings. The wings just don't look like they'd fly. And I know that, again, that's a weird... It doesn't need to be realistic, but something about it just doesn't look right to me. Something about these wings with the crystals on them just doesn't look right. But it still looks fairly cool, so I'd say C tier. Turok. It's not a dinosaur. This is a Z tier. No, okay. Okay, similar. similar to Duvine, but I actually quite like this a bit more. I think it's the face. I think the face just kind of works for me, and just how they apply the rocks. I'd say B tier for this one.
Alright, I didn't get that done all in one take, unfortunately, but here we are for take 2. We've got about... how many do we have left? Okay, we only have about 30 left, so that's not too bad. Let's get on with it then. 2-wire. I'm getting very mecha or meta Ridley kind of vibes from this. I will say that I do think that something about it is off. Might be the head shape. It just looks a bit too robotic, which I guess is the point, but if I'm honest, I would say this is a C tier. I'm not feeling it as much as I thought I would. Again, we've got a lot of these turquoise kind of designs. I mean, I guess that's more of a green, but yeah, there's a lot of these turquoise designs. Not as a bad thing, but you know. And then Tutsu. Yeah, I like this B tier. Yeah, this kind of. I mean, this is a wind and melee, so this is kind of what you think of when you're thinking, like flying fighting type, I guess. And this works for that, I say. Nice, powerful legs. Decent. Don't really like the belt here, but I can forgive that. Liking this. Liking the wings. This is good. Yeah, B tier. Okay, so all of these I think I like to a degree. Some more than others though, but none of them like massively. So Kinu, kind of cute. I don't really like whatever this kind of looks like. Lipstick. C tier. It's all right. It's nothing special, but it's not bad. Yeah, I'd say it's quite cute with these eyes, and it's just a bit too much going on for what it is, I guess. Which I'm not into, but yeah, it's still a good design. Volvir, very Cubone. I'd say C tier. I you know, it's hard not to compare this to Cubone, but I think it's a comparison that is not unfavourable necessarily, but I think overall it is. There's not much to it, but I do like the rocky helmet. And the colour of the eyes as well, so I would say C tier. Volo. The helmet design is a lot cooler here. Whatever this is, I quite like it actually. Just like the general body shape. Very kind of Charmeleon to me here, but that's not a bad thing. Yeah, I'd say B tier. Volcrane. This is okay, let's have a look at what I like. Very muscular body. I'm quite liking that. Like these kind of shoulder pad things, and these as well. The design of the helmet again, great. Strong feet, strong arm. Yeah, I would say A tier. I guess I feel like this is a design that goes quite hard. I feel like it could go harder, and that's the only reason that I would put it as A tier rather than S tier. Pig Epic. I'm gonna say E tier. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't like it. Maybe it's the fact that it looks kind of shiny, and that's fine, but it looks shiny on the wings. That's really putting me off. I know it's a pig, but like fleshy wings, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say E tier. I don't like this design. I'm not sure why, but I don't like it. Acronox. This is a cool design. You know, one design that I really love is Drapion in Pokemon. And I think this really kind of gets at the heart of why with this design. Because this, I think, scorpions are just really cool animals, just in general.
And you kind of want to exaggerate as much of that. In fact, maybe I'm going to get Picture Drapion up. Because I know this isn't the point of it. But, like, there's something about this design with the claws, the way that it's segmented up, the mouth, just the general shape of the mouth, and the tail, even the legs, they're short, but they're sharp. Something there clicks with me about Drapion. And this does the same, although not quite as much. I love this tail piece. This is fantastic. The headpiece I like as well. I actually, that's meant to be a claw, I'm guessing, because it's not quite symmetrical. I like that. These claws, though, they're not sharp enough for me. And I would say the same about the face, especially the mouth. It's just something about it is not, like this little bit here. It's a bit soft. But other than the mouth and the claws are still good. But other than those two things, it's a great design. I like these feet as well. Very sharp. Better than Drapion's, actually. So I'd say this is an A tier. Yeah, I'd say it's an A tier. For the record, in terms of Drapion's design, I would also consider that an A tier. So I do think it's kind of split in hairs. I really like this. I really like Drapion. But I think if this had just a few little bits that were just a little bit different, I think this would be S tier. But it's just missing out on S tier for me. Koish. That's weird. I'll tell you what, I'm getting Goldeen vibes from this, and I don't dislike Goldeen, but I don't particularly like it either. And so I'm kind of judging this based on that. I'm gonna say D tier because I like the color scheme, and it does have quite a nice personality shining through there. But I don't like the lips, and I just don't like the general, these bits of the design I don't like, and the tail I don't like. So I'd say D tier is fair for this. Volphy. I feel like this is probably like a Fennec Fox, maybe? Something like that. I'll say C tier. I do like it. I do like what they're doing with this. I wouldn't say that I am massively into it. Actually, no, D tier. I'm fairly neutral on this, actually. There's not really much here that draws me to it. There's the big ears I'm not really into, and the flowers on the end. I can see that there's some good stuff here. Maybe it's the colour scheme, actually. If this had a different colour scheme, I think I'd like it more. As it is, I think D tier. Chubby. That's adorable. You know, this is a case where it being mechanical actually is... I quite like it, actually. Like its little, you know, tired expression. It's a chubby little bee. I mean, there's not much more you can say about that. It's a chubby little bee and I like it. Yeah. Chubby is a B tier, I'd say. And I didn't do that just because it's a B. I genuinely, but I'd say B tier. Waspine. Oh. Now this I like. See, at first these look like arms. These seem to be arms. Actually, having said that, it is an insect, so they could also be arms. These could also be arms. I really like this. I'm gonna say A tier. I wouldn't say S tier. I do think that something about this doesn't quite feel right to me. And that kind of kills it for me. But it's still A tier. It's still a really cool design, I think. Mortal. Kind of cute, but D. There's nothing really here that just draws me. There's some, you know, there's some the ears and just this bit. So the face is good, but like, there's nothing else there that really that really captures me. So I'm gonna say D. I don't really get much from this. Morments are better. C tier. The shaggy. I'm not sure I'm into the shaggy leaves on here. Like that. This here along the back, and it is quite, you know, chunky, which is kind of the point, I think. Yeah, but I would say C tier. I like it, but yeah, C tier. Hazrat. That's a rat with a lot of personality. I like this. I do like this. I'm gonna say B tier. I'm guessing, would this be electric, toxic fire? Okay, cool. Again, I'm not really judging it on that, but it's interesting. I will say I don't really like the colour of the tail. I know that that's what a rat's tail looks like. I actually think it's the yellow with the pink that doesn't work for me. But otherwise, I actually think, yeah, this is a decent design. Yeah, so I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna say B tier. I like this. I would happily. I mean, again, the hair. I'm not really keen on the hair. Similar to how I don't really like Rillaboom because of its hair. This one's hair does kind of put me off. Kind of looks like a Simpsons. You know, actually, this looks like a Simpsons character. I'm not sure why, but it looks like a Simpsons character. But yeah, I would say this is a B tier. Mintle. This is adorable. I'd give that a B tier. Now you know what, A tier. That is adorable. I'm gonna give that an A tier. I like that. It's just cute. No other reason. It's just cute. Minox. Yeah, that's an A tier too. Nice, strong design, cool. Yeah, it's a cool design. Liking the face, just the head shape and the head design in general, I quite like. Yeah, A tier design. Oh wow, it evolves again. Minotaur. Oh wow, that goes hard. That goes hard. This is an S tier, I think. Like, just the design of these antlers here is, yeah, they are cool. And then you've got these antlers as well. And I like the design of the tail, especially with these spiky bits on it now. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's S tier. I really like that design. Mawala. It's a koala, but you can't really tell, which isn't a bad thing, actually. I like the... I was about to say I like the tri-boomerang, and I do, but also it's something about that, just having that there. I don't mind Pokemon and, you know, by extension, Temtem having tools and stuff, but, like, something about having it there just feels weird to me. I'm gonna say D tier. I don't really feel like I have any feeling either way on this one. I'm gonna be honest. It's a D tier. Venks. That's not what. Okay, there we go. Venks. That's a cool enough design. I could see it being a C tier. Like the cross on its head. That's quite a nice design, I think. But C tier. I think there's potential in whatever this evolves into. But I would say for this design specifically, C tier. Venmet. Decent. I'd still say it's a C tier. It's cool enough. I'm just not sure that there's anything that's pulling me in, I guess. So still C tier. And then Vental. So this is a split evolution. Vental, I do quite like this. Again, I'd say C tier. I like this ring around its neck. Otherwise, still not anything that's especially pulling me in. So these would be C tiers. Chimerian, I'm guessing. Okay, this is a very Dodrio kind of design. You know, obviously a land bird kind of design. I mean, you could also make the comparison to Galarian Zapdos, but I actually personally think, I mean, both of those designs are good, but you know what I'm saying. It's got these strong legs. I like these tail feathers. I like. No, to be fair, the head is a little hit or miss for me. There's just a bit too much going on with these bits, and I guess the same around the body. So I'm gonna say B tier. I like it. Not so keen on the color scheme as well, actually. But I do like it. Arachnite. Let's see. It's a spider. I'd say it's a pretty cool spider. I would say probably a B tier. I mean, spiders are just generally cool. You know, I would say I like this design, for example, more than Ariados, but I don't like it as much as Galvantula. So I would say B tier is kind of a nice in between. Yeah, it's just solid. It's nice and spiky, nice. The legs are quite cool. It's actually got 8 limbs, unlike spider Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say, yeah, definitely B tier. Tycho. Why is it wearing a nappy? Like a metal nappy? That's weird. Again, this is one that feels just like a kind of a cartoon character rather than, you know, a monster in a monster collection game. I mean, I guess to an extent, like, that's what is going to happen. I'm not sure I like these whiskers either, actually. I'm going to say this is a D tier. I don't really feel either way about this, but I'm sure it evolves. Monko. Yeah. C tier. I do like some of what it's doing here. And I think it's definitely better than, what is it called, Tycho. I like the whiskers. They're quite cool. The colour scheme's alright. But I wouldn't say it goes above C tier. It's a good design, I like it, but not more than C tier. Anna here. This is it's a very busy design, but I kind of like what it's doing. I think the color scheme actually is what kind of helps this one. The color scheme I think is very cool. The crystals being there as well. The legs look quite powerful. I actually quite like the head shape as well. I'm gonna say this is a B tier. It's a bit busy in terms of design, but I would say that the color scheme especially just really helps it. So B tier. Anatan. This is a very good one. I'm gonna say this is an A tier. Not quite sure I like these bits here, but other than that, these are so chunky. Like that is a really like compelling design to me. It's like this, like kind of Galissapod is like over designed. Like it's parts of its design are just so big and exaggerated, and I just kind of love that. And this is kind of similar. These pincers are so exaggerated in their size, but it's great. I love it. Yeah. So I'd say that's an A tier. Nice, solid A tier. Tyrannac. Ooh. I would say this is an A tier. I'm trying to think, because obviously we have a Tyrannosaurus Pokemon in Tyrantrum. And I would say that I prefer Tyrantrum to this, but I'd say it's actually quite close. This is a bit more frilly, which I think is potentially where I have issues. Not even frilly, because Tyrantrum does have kind of fluffy bits and frilly bits on it. I think it's just mainly this tail bit that, I mean, that I feel like that's probably, and these bits as well. They kind of look like petals or leaves on a flower, which is that like the point? It's fire in nature, so that is the point, but I'm not sure it works for me. But then I do like this here, these kind of wooden segments. And it's a Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus is very difficult to screw up as a design, so I would say A tier. Oh, and we're on to the last one now, and that's Volgon. And this is a really good design, I'd say. Kind of, I want to say Rayquaza-esque, but let's be honest, that's just because they're based on the same thing, like just a, you know, an Eastern Asian dragon, you know. Yeah, I would say electric, very, very solid design. I would actually say S tier finishing on a high S tier. This is a really cool design. I genuinely don't have many notes on what I'd improve about this. I love these cyan bits, the crystally bits. I love this tail, you know, blade part. That's great. Yeah, and just the hands as well. This is a great design. I like this S tier, definitely. And that's all of them. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and like put them in a tier list, so that I can show you, and then I'm going to come back and kind of have my concluding thoughts, I guess.
Okay, so whilst I was doing that whole thing, I somehow managed to actually miss a Temtem out. I'm not entirely sure how I did that, but apparently this one is Nestler. And just kind of looking at it, it's for me this is a B tier. I think this is a really solid design. I guess I would say there's not even anything I would necessarily improve about it. It's just not necessarily one that I am as big into as other ones that I saw. Yeah, so it was it's a pretty good it's a pretty good design, but I wouldn't put it up above B tier. But that's B tier is still pretty good. That's still a great design. You know, I think this is, you know, it's kind of you know, Loch Ness Monster, kind of Lapras-esque, I guess, in some ways. Not really, but it has that same sort of majesty to me, which I think it is pretty good. Okay, so I did try to make a tier list on Tier Maker, but the tier lists I found weren't actually they don't seem to actually be complete with all of the Temtem. So I've just kind of whipped something up myself in PowerPoint. I like using PowerPoint for graphics. Just, you know, my thumbnails and just anything you've ever seen me make on either here or Twitter has probably been done in PowerPoint. So that's why it looks a bit weird here, but it should still kind of demonstrate the point that I'm trying to get at. When I went into this, I thought that there were going to be a lot of designs that I really didn't like. And that's mainly because I had seen kind of the general art style of Temtem, and also just like the color palette, and I just didn't think it particularly meshed with what I am into when it comes to designs. What I've actually found going through this is that I really like the Temtem. About a week ago, I actually made tier lists of every generation of Pokemon, and none of them I don't think off the top of my head had this higher percentage of Pokemon in at least C tier. Like, it's very heavily weighted to the I like this kind of category, which is very surprising to me. Because as I say, I genuinely wasn't expecting to really be into the Temtem. And I think that this has actually kind of made me think, you know what, it might be worth trying Temtem out. I love Pokemon for the Pokemon, because I like their designs. And sure, you know, I still think overall that there is something about Pokemon that, in a general sense, is kind of untouchable. You know, you can try your best, but Pokemon will always be the king of you know, creature collecting games, and that's in a large part due to its designs. But with that said, Temtem has some really strong offerings here, and that isn't something I was expecting. I mean, I knew already that I liked, for example, Platypet. That was one I already knew I liked, but there's plenty here. I mean, I can't remember most of their names, but there's plenty here that are actually really cool, or really cute, or just generally really engaging. And I would be very interested now in actually trying out Temtem. Because there's, how many was there? There was 9 that I didn't like, and then a fair handful that I, was kind of on the, very meh about. But other than that, there is some really strong stuff here. So I'm really looking forward to playing Temtem. Although, to be fair, I'm more looking forward to playing Scarlet and Violet, but that's just because it's Pokemon. As much as I like the look of the Temtem, Pokemon will always be my first love, and nothing's going to overtake that. But it has been quite fun looking at this and considering what there is here that I actually like about the designs. I hope that it's been interesting, and I hope that maybe there's other people who have seen these designs now and who think, you know what, maybe I could try that out as well. That would be great. It would be great to send some support to another Pokemon-like franchise. Not that I'm saying that Scarlet and Violet doesn't also deserve that. I haven't played it. I've heard a lot about the controversies around it, but I still think, I'm not particularly outraged by anything I've seen in Scarlet and Violet. But something like Temtem does genuinely look like it isn't just cashing in on Pokemon. It looks like, based on the designs, this is people who have a genuine appreciation for Pokemon and just wanted to try and put their own spin on it, and they've done really, really well with it from what I can see. And yeah, that's how I'm seeing this. So hope you enjoyed this one. The next video that I have should be coming out relatively soon. I've kind of been working on it since before I started this one, but this just kind of came to me, and as I haven't played Scarlet Violet yet, I thought it would be fitting to do. So hopefully, shouldn't be too long until the next one, and I'll see you then.